or anything, is it? I think we're live. I just had a little sip of my coffee and I'm going to start. So, I am so... Oh, well, it's saying my stream key's not there. I'll just go into YouTube and see if I've come on. Notification. I'm on. That's silly. It said on the thing I wasn't. Anyway, sorry to waste that 5 seconds. No one's on yet, so that's good. And it's not my normal time. I'm normally on Tuesday night, and Wednesday morning. But I've become hooked in this making of albums. So this is the one I did with Stampin' Up's Paper Pumpkin at the Hooray for Birthdays. And I did that, so that's got part 1 and part 2 that you'll go back and look at. So I've done all that and I decorated it all using all of the flowers. Isn't that just stunning? So that would have been the seam. So, and that's the front. Now the seam was down here and you can't really see it. So today I couldn't help myself. So Nature's Symphony is, I don't know if it's on Last Chance or whatever, but I thought I was going to have a last chance with it and do an album as using this, and then I'm using retired stock, so I think it might be on the outlist soon. So, and Wildly Flowering Designer Series paper is done. Now this one, I'm sure it's Notes of Nature, but it might not be. Someone might want to tell me different. But look at that, all that gold on there. And then, just to make it really spectacular, with all these flowers and everything, look at all this. I have got this silver pack. Now I'm going to pop this over here till I need it. So I've got this, I use this pack of silver foil. So I used the coppery one that it came with and the silver, and I'm going to use that to design it. So when I finish making it, but that will probably be part 2 because I've got school pick up in an hour, so I have to go and do that. So let's just kick on. So what I've done is I've written it all out here to what I need, and I think that's an extra pocket I cut because I thought I was missing one, and then I realised it was on my black keyboard. That's why I didn't see it. So we will start with, I've got it all lying on top of each other, so I hope I've got it correct. So I have 2 sheets at, oh, that's in centimetres. I don't do centimetres. No wonder that ruler was not there. So I have behind me my trusty, and I love it because it's a really long one. So this is 10.5 by 8 1/4. Okay, and it's the same on this side. So the finished album will be a 7.5 by 5.5 with a 1.5 inch spine. So we're just going to put this together down here. Now, I know you want a bit, but you don't want too much, because I can tell you now, you get lots and lots of glue on your table. Sorry. I'm just going to turn my phone off on that one because I don't need it. We just had an alert, which was a bit weird. Okay, so we're going to put that over about a 1/2 inch. And just give that a rub. So you can use your bone folder. Make sure, oh, I'm out a smidge in there. Okay, turn it over and do the same. and you can see why you get all the glue on the back. So I hadn't cleaned that up, just making sure that's correct. So now this is the card that comes on the back of our Stampin' Up. So this was Designer Series part, I think this is the paper from here. Delightful Eccentric. Maybe it's not the one from here. Anyway, so we use these. I will put them over here so you don't have to, they don't look so bad. So they are 5.5 by 7.5, two of them, 1.5, if I'm correct, by 7.5. Okay, the folder top, when you have glued it together, will be 16 by 10.5. Okay, so we're just going to glue these down. Oh, this is when I have a lot of bottles up here that are waiting to be cut up and used. So I'll just see if there's... Nah, we'll just have to go to the new one. We'll get a new one soon. So we're going to make that so it's sort of like an inch. It's a little bit over an inch. Okay, we have a little gap so it bends. And we'll put our last one on. Okay. Now we're going to get, might see if I've got a pair of bigger scissors in here. Had lots of scissors, and someone has pinched my scissors, and there's only a really good pair of sewing ones, so I can't use them on cardboard. Let me have a look. I do have a big pair of sort of like orange ones, but now I'm going to have to use these. So we're going to go straight across the corner there. And I think I might have to take that in just a little bit more. Okay. And last one. Hi, how are you? Alright. Here goes to lots of rubbish again. Okay, so I'm just going to fold that up. Give a little bone fold in the middle to help it fold better. Okay, run it down. And this one. Okay, and in here. Now that should just go over nicely. Covering that little bit of it there. Have you enjoyed making albums? I think this is, I really love it. I know I'm such a sook. I do love my carding. I'm on a Tuesday night and a Wednesday with Stampin' Up products on my cards, so I do love that, but sometimes I get bored. My boys are 17 now, nearly 18, and they don't need me as much, so you can imagine I need to have something to do apart from just clean house, cook. I like to visit friends and go out for lunch and things like that, but sometimes I just love crafting. I used to love sewing. Oh, no, I still love sewing. But I put a little bit of weight on, so I'm not doing as much because I can't make things that I feel comfortable in. Alright. Now, just here, let's get that down. Just give it a bone fold along here. Look at the paper split a bit. So just there we're going to give them a bit of a rub. Okay. Oh, I missed a bit there. I'll have to do something fancy on that corner, won't I? Alright. And up we go. And there we have it. In 5 seconds flat. Don't look where my finger is. And why doesn't that want to glue? Not enough. There's a fine line between not enough and too much, isn't there? And sometimes it is just what it is. Okay? And I've just managed to cut that, but I can tell you now I've got something that's covering that first page, so I don't worry about that. Alright, just gently give that a bone fold on both sides. So you've got a nice, ready, hard album cover. Okay? Now little joins just there, see? And we'll get that done. A little bit of rub on there, but we'll sort that all out later. Alright, so I've cut all mine out ready. I have put the things on them, so if you go back to the start you can follow everything. Now I'm going to turn those over and we're going to start at the top. So I've got them all here. So just pop that up there for a sec. So this is the inside back of the album. Sorry, inside back. Oh, maybe I've got them the wrong way up. We're going backwards. Okay, let's turn it the other way. Turn my stack up that way. And I've put a folder there. So this is the inside front. So I have a 7.5 by 5.5. On the left side, we're going to put it down. We're going to score it and put it down there. So we're going to score 1/2 inch. So I've written, you can easily write this out. So 7.5 inch, we're going to score 1/2 inch on the left side. Okay? And while I've got these out, I'm just going to do all of that. Why have I done that? Inside front album. We've got another. I didn't have to score that at all. I'm sure that's my piece I'm putting on. And these are the two. Hold on, 5 1/4. Got that. Got 2 little books to go in it. Like that. I'm just going to double check my inside flap is the 2 with the folds. Yes. So that I'm going to take down. Oh, it's completely right. It is right to the ends of all of it. I have got it right. So, but we didn't have to score. Let me just make sure when I've got that light on top, we can close it. We can. So we're not going to score. So anyone looking at this, rubber over here somewhere. There's those big scissors. I did have a rubber. There is no score on this one. No score. So it's 7.5, no score. So I'm going to just turn that over the back so you can't see that. And we're going to put that down corner to corner. And there's our, okay, I'm going to put that right over because that little white dot there is right there. Okay, and we're going to cover that whole thing. Next, I'm just looking at my sort of homemade little exercise thing. We're going to open a flap here and put a flap in. And that is going to go right on the edge of where that ended. Okay. And we should be totally, oh, okay. So we've got a flap there, and now we're going to put 2, but because we're doing that we're going to need a bit of DSP. So I might start the book with a little bit of, I'm not sure if I want gold because I've got that silver all through. I might start with a nice blue page. How does that look? So I'm going to make that, I'm going to get my tape at the right end instead of my bum. So this one you will just go through and do. I'm going to do 7 by 5 1/4. So 5 1/4. Yep. By 7. Alright, now while I've got that, I'll do another one in case I need to use it for another one. 5 1/4 by 7. So I'm going to pop that away, and those, I'll put them into, I've got a little box here that I put all my paper into. Oh, isn't that pretty? And we're just going to give it a nice border all the way around. And then onto that, we've got 2 at 6 by 3, score at 3. Okay, so we're going to put 1 there and 1 there. So they're going to open out with photos, or we can do it that way. That might look nice. We still don't lose our flowers. So remember, 2 at 6 by 3 inches, score at 3. So that gives us just a total of 3 small photos. And that's going to go down in that corner. And I'm just going to give that a little bone fold. Alright, and then that's coming over. And that one, I'm not putting the blue on. I'm going to put which one did I think? I love this, and it's all got a bit of that in it. What do you reckon? Hi. So I'm thinking in there. I'm going to put that, but so then you can put another photo in there. Oh, no, I got to put that. I do got to put that, even though I've got silver. And that one's too short. So I can use my ruler on this one. So you know that that was 5 1/4 and scored. So I'm going to make that 4 1/2 by 3 3/4. Four and a half by 3 3/4. Oh, look at that. There's this tiniest little bit off that. I love it. I love it. Okay. So you can only put these on when you've got your flaps put down, okay? So, and then these will have white pop put on. Okay, so we're going to, I think we're going to cover that. So, I don't know how much black I've got lying around here. Is that big enough? Yeah. So, for that was 1 1/2, and you've only got a little bit of leeway in there. So, I'm going to take it to 1 1/2, just a slither under 1 1/2. So, 1 1/2, and I'm going to make it 1 slither under, 1/16 under. That is so tiny, isn't it? And that is 6 inches long, okay? It will, I'm not going to do it. You know why? I just remembered, by the time I put my things in, it covers them. So that's our front. Now, let me put those to the side. And we'll go to, so that's pretty easy, isn't it? And you would just put, let's grab some white in here. I've got lots of everything. Okay, so with our white, I'll just get a smaller piece here. So our white would be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. 2 3/4. It did not cut, guys. Let me just get this little tiny baby out. I know it's not Stampin' Up, but it's a nice little guillotine that will get me through the small ones, okay? So 2 3/4. 2 1/2, 2 3/4 should be there. And 2 3/4, we'll turn that round and do it this way. Okay, it might be a bit bigger. That one. And they will go in there. And I'll fill the last in. I'm just putting it in the outside to show you. So they will be photo mats. Okay. Right, so that's our first. That's got that. That will be a photo mat in there. Got it, because you're working black on black, it's hard to see where we're going with that. And I just want that tiny little bit off there. So that is 4 3/4 by 4. And I'm going to lift it up again to make sure I've got that correct. And it can move. Yep. So I'll put that on that. How's that? One album part done. And decorated at the same time. Okay. Right. And the back we've got done. So now we're going to start on the next page. I'll put that to the side. So I've got to get up everything till I get to a strip I put there. So this page starts with, now we're going to do inside page we've done the flap. Now we're going to do our barn door. So 7 3/4, and we're going to score at half. So 7 1/2, we're going to score at half. No, actually I think it's that way, yep. Got it right. Sometimes you question yourself, but you've just got to keep going. Oh, my coffee's still there, it's all cold. And you score on that. So I put score at 1/2 inch, and I always put a mark under where you're going to score it at that one. Okay, so then onto that we have, oh no, this is a what do you call it? 5 1/2 by 6. 5 1/2 by 6. This is not our barn door. I think this is our, oh, that one. I think I've got the wrong one there. I think that might be for the back. I might have mixed that up. I'll just have a search on that one, because that is a flap, and I am certain cut 5 is a waterfall. So I'm going to have just a look, because that does not look like, and it doesn't, it's only 5 1/2 by 7. These are 5 1/2. 5 1/2 by 6. Just looking. You know what? I put, so that is going to go to there. And then when that's folded, I like to recheck and recheck, not to make me look silly, but to make me feel like I'm doing the right thing instead of the wrong. And of course my tape measure, I pulled it under my bum and I can't. So that is only at 5, so we'll take that one away, because we need 6 by 7 1/2. I don't know what I've done there, sorry guys, that will become something for later. So we need a 6 by 7 1/2. No, we need a 8. No, 5 1/2 ending, 1/2 inch. Why I took that away because I had 5 1/2. I did the length wrong, see? It's 7 1/2 by 6. That was my mistake, guys. I will write that on there for you. 7 1/2 by 6 by 7 1/2. And I'm going to score at 1/2 inch. And take the blade out of the row. So this is actually 7 1/2 by 6, score 1/2 inch. Okay, so I've done the score. Oh my goodness, you know what? It's just as well you got me here to say when I go wrong. Alright, so that's going to be going in there. Alright, and will be another page. So now we're going to build this page. This is going to be a waterfall. So we want to cut 4 at 5 1/2 by 6, and they spit straight onto the wall like that. Each of them are then scored that's the 5 1/2. They are all scored on the 5 1/2 5.5 side, score 1/2 inch. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly whip those over and score every one of them on the 5.5 side. And I'm just lining them up so I check. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and that is number 4, and I will score on that one. Alright, so onto this page we're going to add those. We are, and that is a flap that is coming up. So that is 2, make 2 at 4.5 by 2 inches. 2 inches, so I need another one here, by 4. And we're going to score on the left side 1 and on the right side the other. You can do both left and turn it round. Score on the left, so just score them both on the left and I'll show you what I mean because it doesn't matter. Okay, so 1/2 inch for both of those, and that's not the right size, I've cut that too short. I need 2 by 4.5. I don't do 2 by 4, silly girl. Okay, and now we're going to score on 1/2 inch on both of them. I'll be back with you in 1 sec. So we've both got them, even though they're on the same side the score, you will turn the other one over to the other side. Okay, so you've got 2 like that and they're going to make a flap. Right, so we're going to have all of these now. I'm just going to fold them over, each one of them. And we're going to waterfall them. I love a waterfall. They're so cute. Where's that one? I told you it's hard to see when it's like this, isn't it? Alright. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got our main page here. So just hold that down for a minute. And we're going to start with number 1. We're going to glue it from the bottom. And we're going to get it right in the middle of that page. So I'll put my finger where that is. And we're going to go down. Going to make sure it's straight there and straight. Okay. And we're going to lift that up, and it doesn't matter about that because the next one's going right underneath it. Line it up, and you can push it right up to where it meets that one. I can't see. You know what I can do is try and put this light on. That might make a difference. That's better on this black on black, isn't it? I'm just going to push that one up a little bit more so it meets it properly, and that's done. So I've got 2. Number 3. It's like cooking with gas, aren't I? And straight down on there. Okay. Goes up a little, just a little bit more. Just to make sure it matches right in with that last one. So we've got 3, and now we're going to put our last one on. Now before I put that on, I'm just going to make sure I have cut everything correct. I have, look at that. Wow, I did it. You know, sometimes I wonder. And that wasn't a very good idea doing that, was it? Or throwing it away like that. So I'm going to get that down on the bottom and make sure that's in there. Sorry for my hair, guys. Alright, and now we have a waterfall. Now look at that. And that can take our photos. Next, we're going to, on our last page here, is we're going to put this. Now, I think if we do, this is scored at 1/2 inch. So these are the 2 at 4.5 by that, and score at 1/2 inch. I think we're going to score also at another 3/4. I'll just make sure I can get that shut. I can. A little bit more because that's quite heavy. So I'm going to just score it. It's at 1/2. So I'm now going to go to 3/4 inch and give it a little box-like thing to put it in. And that one, I'll show you. So now we've got a 1/2. Where is it? We've got score at 1/2 on the left there. On the left, 1/2 inch plus 3/4. Okay, and that way you will see. No, that's going to go there, and people will see that one. I need to do that. Oh no, it doesn't matter. Okay, I will rub that out later, or I'll just do it the other way and it'll get covered in DSP. So I'm just going to put this on the bottom here, on the 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to score the 3/4, and that gives me that little lip that holds it. I'll show you when we finish. See how it's got 2 scores, 1/2 and 3/4, and on this one, 1/2 and 3/4. Alright, and now I'm going to just wipe it out of the glue. So this is 6. Now, so from that join there, it's 5 1/4, so halfway's about there. And this is the back page. So you will have a photo on there as well. So I'm running that up to the line. So when it lifts, see that looks like a square? And that will get all of that in. So we're only scoring a 1/2 inch side. And right down, make sure it's got that bend in it. And it's lined up with this. And then we can open it. Whoops. So I run my ruler along the bottom, so I've got it completely. I'm lining it up in here, and I've got to have it at that one, okay? And it's on the corner there. Where is it? Here. I know it's black. There's a seam. You can see the seam there. Alright, and then we've got those. Alright. So, this will end up with a photo mat. You can have them on front, you can have them on the back, you can have them everywhere. And then that will come down flat, that will come over, and we'll put a couple of domes on there. And that will hold domes. I've only got, so that is our next page done. Oh my goodness, it's getting time for me to go. Now, try and pull that in properly so it doesn't get caught there. See, holding that really strong. And I'm going to place that right, butting up to that last one, and making sure to fold it. Where's my folder? Sorry. My folder is there. So I need that in the middle of there so it can fold, okay? making sure everything folds and everything's in place, and give it a bone fold. Alright, what is it doing? Guys, I've got 15 minutes and I will have to do this again later. I don't have time to do it all in one day, probably because I'm jumping and giving you a bit more than I do. So, I was debating whether to make a slider instead of opening it. You can do this, make a slider and put that in there, and you can slide it either way, but I think I'd rather the domes, so I'll leave that over there in case I need it. Alright, so if I'm correct, this is the barn door. Oh, isn't it looking good? Right, so this is 6 by 7.5, scored 1/2 inch on the left side. Again, this is another flap. So this is instead of having to, I found with my big heavy one, all the mechanism, it was really heavy to glue, and I had to sort of, it pulled away a bit, so I had to put my glue right down the middle. And always check your pages before you go any further so you know you've got them correct. Okay, you want to make sure that they are all going to fit in nicely. Look, see? And that doesn't seem like 7.5. I'm just going to check that I haven't gone over that. And I totally have, guys. So be like me, always check, because even if you do it wrong, now that looks correct. So this is the next page, and we have this. So we have a 5.5 by 5.5, score 1/2 inch on both sides. Both left and right, don't go. Okay, so we're going to score them left and right. Okay, now we're going to cut it right down the middle. So now that we've taken that off, I have a ruler here somewhere. Here. Now that we've taken that off, this is a simple, if you're watching, this is a simple one. So that is 4.5. So we have to cut that at 2 1/4. And I did it together because I just thought it was easier. So at 2 1/4, we're going to cut it in half. That's with the, don't cut it until you've folded your flaps over. And then it's 2 1/4 from the flap, folded flap, okay? Cut it before that, you're not going to do it right. 2 1/4. Okay, and they're our barn doors. So we're going to glue those. And put them down on here. Oh, hold on, I think I've got them more centered. Okay, so because we've got 5.5, 2 1/4 is 2. So I'm just going to get them together and put them in the middle. How does that look? That one does. Alright. I dropped my ruler, so sorry. So that's about 3/4 inch from the top and the bottom, and 1/2 inch from the side. So now, hoping I've got it all correct. Oh, I did. Okay, and the other one. Oh, I need to check if my husband's gone to get those kids, or I'm going to still do it. Because if he's still here, he can go. So, here we have a barn door. Alright. Now, because I've got the barn door, I have to put the DSP on there now. So, I am going to not do that. Which one did I use before that? So I'm going to use a different one, but in the same family. So, I said they're 2.5, so 2 1/4 by 5 1/4. And we need 2 of those. That's my alarm telling me to go. 2 1/4. I've got my flowers the wrong way. 2 1/4 by, oh goodness, 5 1/4. And we have 2 lovely barn doors, and I want them to the end. Because you will see, oh come on, don't do that to me please. You know what I'm talking about, guys, when it likes to jump out a little bit. Oh goodness, I can't get my fingers to work. It's this black. Okay, got it. And on this side. A bit easier now, the other one's there to line it up completely. Alright, so we've got our barn doors. Next, we have got these, but you know what? I'm just going to check with my husband and see if he's still here. I have to look at the 360 and see if he's gone. Yes, he's gone. Alright guys, I know it seems weird, but you've had an hour and I will be coming back. I've got 5 minutes. So this one is 7.5 by 5, score at 2.5 both sides. So I'm going to do that first. 2.5, I'm going to score. Right, now turn it around and do it on the other side, 2.5. Now, when you've done that at 2.5, take a slither off the side. Take a small piece off there. Oh, hold on, because we've got 2 at 5 by 3, which are going to go on here and fold. So they're going to come out, I think. I'm just going to take a slither, just a slither off one so it comes, I might not need to, but I'll see. That gives me a folding there, and that is going to come into here, right, into the middle of there. So it's a little bit shorter than that. Okay. And that is going to go there. So and you know what? I've just changed my mind. Because I was going to put some flaps on here that come back in, but they're not really big. So I'm thinking I'm going to change that totally and just put a big photo mat in there. So I'm going to put a big square white one. Hold on. Sometimes you've got to change your mind. I wanted to do this particular thing, but I'm not comfortable doing it. I've not done it before. So that is 4 inside, so I'm going to do it 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and it should be the same. If I turn my rule around to my inches, 3 by 5, 5 1/4, 5 1/4. Ooh, hold on. Yeah, that's right there. Yep, that's right there. So, oh my goodness, sorry, I'm fussing a bit here, aren't I? I want to have a bit of a roundabout 4. And look, this bit you will do yourself when you're at home. You will do that. So that's going to fold. Okay. And that gives us a photo frame in the other. Changed my mind on those other two. It is getting a bit big and it gets a bit out of hand, doesn't it? Alright. Okay, so that's a photo mat in there. Then on here, I was going to put a flap going. I'll show you. Oh, I haven't scored them. So these are 5 by 3, scores 1/2 inch on one side, opposite sides. 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Okay, so now what I was going to do is close that by that, and then we have it opening and opening, but I'm not sure if I like that. Do you like it? Which gives you 2 doors, and I've just coloured that, so I'm going to totally leave that bit. I don't like it. It was meant to make a card that came out when you open this, but I haven't got my measurements, so I'm just not feeling it. So on here we've only got that. I need to find a way, so I might just put across here. I'll pinch some of that. Oh wait, I'll just take some from here. I'm just going to take a 2 inch. I'm going to have a look. So I'm going to put a 1/2 inch over on top of both. No, I'm going to do a 2 off that. I'm going to take another 2 inch off this one. 2 inch. So I've got 2 inches again, like I had before. I'm just going to put that right onto the corner there, and that onto this one here, right on there, and glue it in there. See? So actually I'm going to have to take a slither, because that is, see that, got to get it in that spine there. I'm going to take another slither, guys, because that's a little less than I thought it was going to be. Shut down, and that will now be, I'm going to cut that back a little bit, so that will be the 1/2 inch over. I'm going to tell you to do it 3/4 at 3/8 of an inch, the fold, and I'm going to cut that at 4, okay? And we'll do the same to that. Assume it's there, and we're going to cut that at 4. Okay, and that's going to glue on this side. And it's going to go right onto there and make a little flap. Okay, just making sure it's all lined up correctly. That's right. So that one will open out with another flap, and you'll have that there. You could put 2 photos, you could put a message. I might put some of my gold paper. I might put a little bit of just the back of the glue, and so when the door opens, it's got that on the front and it's got the blue on the inside. So I'm going to do 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. 1 3/8 by 5 1/4. And I've got a whole lot of decorations, so I will be back. So I've got I'm going to put the nice blue, I think, like that, even though it's got, oh, so look, it's so gorgeous. I'm just into using up my DSP. So look out for part 2, because when I get to the hour I have to go, I promise. Otherwise I have kids whining and grinding when I get home. And I think I got my leaf up the wrong way, just as well I saw that, wasn't it? Alright, so we've got that and that folds over. We're going to have these. So on these, we're just going to have a 3 and 1/4 by 1 7/8, and 2 of those. A 3 1/4 by 1 7/8, and we're going to use this. Let's see if I've got, is that 3 1/4 that way? Yep, I've got it. Oh, I've got it. So we're going to go 3. Did I say 3 1/4 or 2? I always like to double mix. 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Okay, I want it that way. Yes, I did say 3 1/4. This way. 3 1/4 by 1 7/8. No, by, guys, I look like a Namby, don't I? But you know what? In the long run, you'll love it. But I double check. 1 3/4. 1 3/4. Which I will put some. Let's go. Oh, isn't that lovely? And 1 3/4. And onto that, I will be putting some of my fluffy things, which I will do in the next one. So that's our next page. Very simple, just one photo. You could put little photos down there if you want. It's not a heavy page. I can add to it. I can go on the back and put another flap, which I might do in the end. I'll go back and see. I just wanted to do one that was a little bit more simple for everyone. So we're going to note that that one has just moved a bit. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to run this down here. It's 5 past. I have got to go, guys. I have just got to go. And that is going to line up next to our other one. Put that in. Got it lined up. And that is, I am leaving you with the front page done, the front and side, the first page done with a waterfall. And because it's big, it does take a bit. Then we've got our barn door, which needs to glue down and hold down. So on that note, I'm going to leave this to hold it down, and I am going to catch you in my part 2. And I am so glad you came and had a look, but my first hour of this is over.